Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. Hope everyone had a great week, and I hope that your weekend is going well too. All right, so we're going to get straight to today's show. The title is Twisted, and the topic is writing plot twist. And we're going to do it in a fun way today. We're going to use Twisted as an acronym to sort of spell out the do's and don'ts of writing plot twist. Okay, so let's get straight to it, shall we? So we know that plot twists are the lifeblood of those of any gripping storytelling, right? So they shock and then they intrigue, and the most important fact is that they keep the readers glued to the pages, right? That's the goal. But crafting a perfect twist, it requires, just a little more than a random surprise, right? We all like those jump scares when we are watching a movie or something like that, okay? But then over time, if you watch enough of those shows, you sort of can figure out, where you're going to get scared. So having those plot twists is crafting it in a way to where the reader doesn't know exactly what's going to happen next. So that's the importance of writing great plot twists. So, because it's an art, right? All right, so again, we're going to use the acronym TWISTED to create plot twists that feel natural, yet they leave a lasting impact. So this is how we're going to do it. So using the word T of twisted, tease early clues, okay? So the best plot twist, they don't come out of nowhere, right? So they are built on those subtle hints, those that are scattered throughout your story. So these clues, they create an I should have seen it coming type of feel, right? So anyway, these moments, that is when the twist is revealed, right? So let's just use this example. Let's foreshadow a character's betrayal with some minor inconsistencies in their behavior, or just place an innocuous object in a scene that later becomes pivotal. All right. So let me just give you a little pro tip on this. So use misdirection to actually hide the clues. Guess what? In plain sight. But just make sure that they're logical in hindsight. Okay. So everything needs to make sense. All right. So W, withhold but be fair. All right. So while you don't want to reveal the twist too early, withholding too much of it, it can alienate your audience. All right. So you don't ever want to do that. You need to strike a balance, and then you need to hold back just enough information just to keep the readers guessing, but you also want to provide enough context so they feel that the story is fair, right? All right, so I'm just going to use another example, I don't know if any of you have actually read the book or if you just saw the movie Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. The narrative, it cleverly shifted the perspectives, and that it withheld those fundamental truths until the right moment. So it kept you guessing all the way up until we sort of saw the plot twisting in the direction that the writer wanted to take you, after having you to believe that this is the first part was the true direction of that story. Okay, so now I intrigue the reader. So a plot twist should make the readers sort of react with surprise, but it should also deepen their engagement with the story. So that's another goal, right? So the revelation, it must raise those questions, or it should offer some new insights into the characters and then also the plot. So make it meaningful and not just shocking, just for the sake of it. Okay. So and then you should always ask yourself, how does this twist change the stakes, right? Does it push the story forward? So you always want to do that. And I know that these are just minor details, but they are important details. So now S, subvert expectations. All right. So a great twist surprises those readers by breaking those conventions, or turning their assumptions on their heads, right? So take a trope or an expectation and just flip it, because this will help keep your story fresh and then unpredictable. All right. So, another good example, if you are an M. Night Shyamalan fan, I am, and I love his movies, in The Sixth Sense, right? So when I saw this movie, the plot twist got me, all right? Because it completely redefines the viewer's understanding of that entire narrative, and it actually subverted the typical ghost story, right? So that's what made it so good. If you've ever watched it, so if you haven't watched it, you need to watch The Sixth Sense. All right. So now T in Twisted, tie it together. So a twist is only as good as its integration. All right, it's integration into the overall story. So, after the reveal, everything should make sense, right? The twist must feel like an organic part of the narrative rather than a last minute addition. And let me tell you something, readers are savvy and they will pick straight up on that. Okay, so tie it together. Don't leave any loopholes. Don't leave any loose ends. All right. So now this is another pro tip telling you how to nail it. Okay, so after you have drafted your twist, right, you need to revisit it, those earlier parts of the story, to make sure that all the pieces align seamlessly. Okay, so that is one trick of the trade. Just don't finish the story and then go back and look at it. You need to go back from the beginning and start reading it all the way in, because guaranteed you will pick up on some loose ends that you need to tie up in that story. Okay, so now let's get to the evoke emotion. All right, we know how important that is. So the most memorable twist, they aren't just clever, but they are emotionally resonant, and we always want the story to resonate with the readers. They should have that strong reaction to all of the emotions that's going on in that story, whether it's shock, heartbreak, or triumph. We want to make sure that we hit all of those marks. Okay, so tie your twist to your characters, to those character arcs, to maximize all that emotional impact. Right. So I was going to do another example, but I think I'm going to skip that. Okay, because I think you've had enough to let you know exactly how you do these story twists. So now we're going to get to the D. Deliver at the right time. So we know that timing is everything. Okay, a poorly placed twist, it can derail a story, and we don't want to do that. So we need to have those perfectly timed plot twists. Everything needs to be delivered at the right moment. Okay, so while a perfectly timed one, it can elevate it, or it can, if it's not perfectly timed, we know what's going to happen, right? So you need to build that suspense and lead up to the reveal, and then you need to choose a moment when the impact will be the greatest. All right. So this is just a rule of thumb. You need to place major twists at turning points or at climaxes, and where they can actually create a maximum tension or resolution in the story. Okay, so just remember that. So pretty much that's it. We've used the entire word twisted. We used it as an acronym today to sort of help, help you with those plot twists, because for new readers and for new writers that are, new to the game, these are little tidbits that you need to know that can be useful to you in the long run. Because writing is more than just telling a story. You need to have all the right elements within that story to make it successful, to make it great. Okay, so just remember that. Twisted, the T, the W, the I, the S, the T, the E, and the D. Okay, it's not just a word. It is a whole entire thing. Okay, so it is the framework for writing perfect plot twist. If you just remember that acronym, to tease it, to withhold it, to intrigue, to subvert, to tie it together, and then to evoke emotion, to deliver at the right time, and that's it. Okay, so you have all of those letters, and when you put them together, they spell the word twisted, but they also have a double meaning. Okay, so just remember all of those little tidbits that I sort of gave you today, because it can be useful to you in the long run. So, just to wrap it all up, we need to craft a perfect plot. And sometimes when you are crafting those perfect plots, they can be challenging, right? But if you use the twisted framework, that will help you to make sure that your twists in the story are impactful, right? And then surprising. And, we all want to be satisfied. So we need to make sure that in the end that they are satisfying, that reader, when they complete that story, when they close that book, they are completely satisfied with everything that took place in that story. Okay, so we need to have those teasing clues. We need to have those subverting expectations, just like in Gone Girl. And then we need to deliver all of the emotional resonance that we can put into a story to add to that impact. All right. And I guarantee, this will keep your readers hooked from start to finish. So, the next time you write, you need to ask yourself, is your plot twisted enough? All right, guys. So that is it for today's show. I hope that you have found something useful in it, and I hope that you will listen, like, and share, because I do appreciate that very, very much. It keeps me motivated. It helps me to, to plan the next episode of Book Chat, and also make it as useful and as exciting as I can possibly do. So that is also one of my fulfillments as a writer, and then as a podcast host. All right. So as always, I hope everyone has a good rest of your weekend. I also hope that you have a great Thanksgiving holiday next week. I hope that it is the best. We all have so many things that we need to be thankful for, and I have a host of them that I am so thankful for. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my relationship with God, because, if it wasn't for Him, none of this would be possible. So I thank Him first and foremost of all things. And next week we will not have a show, because it is the Thanksgiving holiday week and weekend. So I'm going to take that weekend off. And again, I'm wishing everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Okay. And like I always say, remember to tell those who you care about the most today how you feel about them, because tomorrow is not promised. So make sure that you tell them today how you feel. And on that note, I love you. I hope you love